And hello! This is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from the beautiful metaverse, and more specifically, beautiful Danville, Illinois. And this is Midday with Reverend Don, and my guest today is Krys Copeland.
Hi, Reverend Don. Hi, everyone.
And Krys is joining us from the beautiful Netherlands.
Yes, it's a little cold today. It can't not decide whether it's spring or winter right now. So
It's the same here. Today, I think the last time I looked, it was 36 degrees. It's now up to 39, so it's not bad now. But
it's a little bit warmer here, about 12 degrees Celsius, which I think is around 40, 45 degrees Fahrenheit.
yesterday, it was like 30, 40 degrees warmer than this. And who knows what tomorrow is going to be.
That sounds like Illinois weather, though.
It does. Yeah. And to all of our viewers, as you know, if you follow Midday with Reverend Don, you can type your questions or comments into whatever platform you're watching on, assuming you're watching live, and they will show up here in our chat room. We don't have the chat overlay on today because we have a guest, but we want to say hello to Nikki in the chat room and to Reverend Mary in the chat room. It's good to see you both.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, Reverend Mary. Good to see you.
And hello to Bimby.
Hi, Bimby. Good to see you as well.
And as you also know, if you follow Midday with Reverend Don, I'll be saying hello to people throughout the program because that's what we do. We love our viewers.
Yes, yeah. It's really exciting to get to share all of the new things happening at Correllian Publishing with everyone. And, we look forward to your feedback. So if you have thoughts about any of our books or any of our products that you've purchased, or maybe you're interested in purchasing, let us know in the chat. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
We want to say hello to Renee in the chat room.
Hi, Renee.
So we have some news today that people may be interested in. Oh, and Nikki says, we love you as well. Thank you, Nikki.
Oh, we love you too, Nikki. Good to see you. We have a big announcement today. Reverend Don, your book of astrology is now published officially.
Yes. Yeah. The order has gone in for the copies. They'll be here in a week to 10 days and go out to everyone who's pre-ordered one then. Or you can buy them on Amazon now and get them faster but unsigned.
Yeah.
But yes, they now are finally a reality. Yay!
Yeah. I'm very excited to see all of the buzz about it, all of the pre-orders that we got for it. That was great to see. We appreciate everyone's support so much. Mary says she can't wait to get hers. Yeah, so we'll actually give you a little bit more of a sneak peek today, Mary, and everyone else in the chat.
Yeah.
I want to show you the amazing artwork that Reverend Don that you did
Thank you.
for this. I just love the graphics. I love the colors of it, and so excited to put this out. And what would really help is if you haven't purchased your copy yet, just if you're not planning on keeping this one on your bookshelf, or if you can use it as a PDF or a Kindle version, feel free to buy the ebook. It's safer, it's better for the environment, and it also is pure profit for us, so that we can reinvest that into producing more quality pagan books from our elders.
Yes.
So always, if you have the option, please go ebook on it.
Yeah, but I can't sign those though, so be aware of that.
Absolutely, yeah, that's very true. So,
and
if you want signed copies.
Bimby says that they recently volunteered to help us at Correllian Publishing.
Yes,
and they're wondering if they entered the wrong email, but no, we're just slow.
So
you'll be hearing from us soon.
Yeah, we had to push out 2 books in 2 weeks, so I was a bit behind on that. But keep an eye out in your email for a message from Maureen Ochiang. She is not only my personal assistant, but also does all kinds of scheduling for multiple organizations that I'm involved with, and she's my bookkeeper as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for her email. She's going to be scheduling our calls with volunteers just to have a nice chat with you, see what you're interested in doing, find out what we need to do to support whatever you're doing within Correllian Publishing. But yeah, we're excited to bring everybody on board. We have a ton of projects in the backlog that I would like to get done, but I just, we just simply don't have time with just the two of us working on it. So it's great to see so many volunteers just willing to jump in and help out with this.
Yes,
I appreciate all of that. Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a dive into your book, Reverend Don.
Yes.
Let me share my screen.
I'm waiting for the little button to push. It hasn't come up.
Yes, I'm trying to find the.
Oh, okay.
The actual screen here. Let's see. I have it open there. I can see it on my screen, but I can't see it in the list of screens available. Let's see. Sticky notes. Nope, it's not those.
No, I think if you're waiting for the Book of Astrology, you'll be very pleased with it.
Yes.
It turned out to be very thorough, more thorough than I originally intended.
Yeah, absolutely.
That happens.
It's quite thorough. I have I'm trying to find it on the windows here, but it's not doing that. So I'm just going to select the entire screen, and then I'll flip over to
there we go.
The book here. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't have it actually opened. I just opened Word and not the document. So let's open that. Yeah, we'll take a look at the ebook since it has the front and back cover with it as well. Let's see here. Oh, no, that's not right. Let's go to this one. There we go. All right, so yeah, I just want to show everybody the table of contents very quickly. You'll note here that we have packed in a lot of information in the table of contents alone. You'll see, all the different chapters, of course. And I love the styling that you chose for this, Reverend Don, with the different colors. Yeah, it's really beautiful. So in chapter 1, it's just a quick introduction to astrology, the history of it, and just a brief overview of what astrology is, both past and present. And then the second chapter is all about how to interpret astrological charts, how to weave a narrative for your clients or for yourself if you're reading for yourself. And chapter 3 contains all the different zodiac signs, as well as the modes and the elements. So it'll have information on all of that. Chapter 4 will cover planetary forces. So this will include the sun, the moon, and of course all the planets, as well as the North Node, the South Node, and Black Moon Lilith, which I was really excited to see the Black Moon Lilith in here, because that is still something very new to me. It's not something I had studied in astrology before. So it was quite eye-opening to learn that there is this other part of astrology that I just never heard of before. After that, we have chapter 5, interpreting planetary aspects. So you'll learn about conjunctions as well as oppositions, trines, and squares. And then in the next chapter, you'll be applying those different things, how to interpret the symbols, the planetary positions, the signs and the houses, and how to add that to the full narrative of the chart and craft that story. The following chapters are all about those planetary positions. So it's understanding all the different planets within each sign. And then after that, we start with the planetary aspects, starting with conjunctions, and we go through every single possible conjunct that there is between two different bodies. After the conjunctions, we have the oppositions, and we go into, of course, if you know anything about astrology, the conjunctions are things that are tied to each other, that work together. Maybe you might be better at
basically in
explaining
the same
this
place.
Yes. Yeah, they're connected to each other.
Yeah.
And then we have opposition. So these are kind of maybe difficulties within the chart, and challenges to overcome with two different kind of opposing parts of the personality being expressed. And then we have interpreting the trines. So trines are like what gives you what your talents or your skills might be, and the connections between those two aspects within the
trines are the happy aspects.
Yes, absolutely. Then we have squares. I've been talking a lot, so Reverend Don, why don't you discuss planetary squares for us?
Squares, again, are challenges. They're places where you have a little bit of tension between the planets that are indicated, which also means that to work with those energies gives you a chance for growth and potential in that circumstance. So on the surface, they're negative, but underneath they're really also positive because they offer you opportunities.
Absolutely. It's kind of like turning, having the opportunity to turn a weakness into a strength.
Yes.
And then
really that's what the whole thing is really about.
Yeah.
It's learning what your native strengths and weaknesses are, but also how to address those weaknesses and turn them into strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the last chapter is probably my favorite part of the book, because this is your own interpretation for your own natal chart. So let me just click over to this, actually, because I think there's some artwork. Yes, this is the artwork that's on the cover. Yeah. And so I loved your different interpretations of the different things within each part of your chart, and how you wove that together into a story about yourself. So it was great to see that. And as a great example, a great case study for those who are learning how to create these charts for yourself, or for your loved ones, or for your clients, all of that. I want to go now to the artwork. So let me just jump back up to the table of contents, and we'll start with the zodiac signs themselves. So you can see also there's artwork for each of the elements within the book, and beautifully colored, beautifully drawn. And I love how all of it is themed together. So it has these very strong, bold lines and bold colors, quite beautiful. You also have artwork for the cardinal, the fixed, and the mutable positions, or signs. And so I love seeing those as well. And then down here, we have all of the different symbols for the zodiac itself. I like my Aries one there. That's my personal sign. Yeah. But yeah, every single sign has its own image with it. So, if you were getting the ebook version of that, you can even take screenshots of it and maybe embed it within the charts that you create, so that it's more customized for your clients or for your friends. And then we have, let me jump over to,
and we want to say hello to Christine in the chat room, and to Mary Cavalcante.
Good to see you, Mary. And yeah, here's the one on all the different artwork for the planets as well. You have one for each, using the symbols of the planetary signs. So here we have all of that artwork. This one's one of my favorites right here, Mercury's. It's just very beautiful, very it fits right in with the style. And one other thing that I think is fairly, I guess, reserved for Correllians, and perhaps for pagans in general, is the way we capitalize special words. It reminds me so much of German, where they capitalize the nouns. I like how we capitalize certain special words within our community.
Yeah, we do have a little eccentricity there.
Yes, yeah. Eccentricities are fun. So, and that's what's great about this book. It's every part of it just really resonates with your voice, as well as general pagan grammar styles, which I really like to see. I like that we have our own unique version of grammar for pagans. Yeah. So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about with this book?
The only thing I would say is that it's rather it's very complete in what it offers, which is how to interpret a chart. I mean, you can write many books on astrology, not just one, and you can never fit everything into one book. But for what it is, I think this is a very complete book.
Yeah, absolutely. I've really enjoyed working on it. All right, so that one, that's the astrology book, but it's not the only book that we have published in the past couple of weeks. We also have the book called Beltane Blessings and the Wisdom of Rhiannon, which is the first in the Will of the Year series for preteens. Let me go ahead and share my screen on that one. Let's see. There we go. So yeah, this is the book that we created with Sarah Hartsong, and the ebook version is only $9.95. You can get the paperback as well. We also have a spiral bound for this one. So if you're buying this for a child in your life, they can actually just tear out the pages and use them during a ritual, or share them with their friends. They don't have to stay within the book itself. And we've added a couple of excerpts here. You'll notice that in this first excerpt about chapter 3, it's from part 1, chapter 3. And the first part is this cute little story about these preteen kids. I think they're 11 in the story, and they're going to their first Beltane ceremony. And it's during the ceremony, the girl in the story starts her period. It's her first period, so she is welcomed into the community with a menarche ceremony, and very beautifully written. Sarah has put a couple of decades of work into creating this series, and is just now publishing it, because she actually worked through everything within the book through raising her own child. So it's literally a child's lifetime of work that she's been gathering research on. Sarah herself is quite a fascinating person as well. She is very accomplished. She has several degrees. I think one is in well, actually, her degrees are listed here, so we can just take a look real quick. She has a bachelor's in religion and global studies. She has a minor in anthropology and a master of arts in communication studies. And she has a land sanctuary, a pagan land sanctuary in the Pacific Northwest. A beautiful land called Arosia, and she holds live events there. She is bringing in more people on site because it is a sanctuary. So more people are connecting to that land and setting up their own living space on it. She also runs Tree of Life Interfaith Sanctuary. She has a great event coming up that I wanted to share with your audience, Reverend Don. And also, not just because it's a great event, I think everybody should attend. You're going to learn a lot of information. It's a one-day event, and it's called the Leaders Summit, the Tallest Leader Summit. Tallest is for Tree of Life Interfaith Sanctuary. And it is this April 6th. I will be giving a presentation as well during this summit on how to write your own pagan book. So if you're interested in writing your own book, feel free to jump into this Leader Summit and attend. We will actually be doing a workshop style class for mine, where you will outline your book and potentially also outline chapter 1 of your book or some chapter within your book, because I will be explaining the process of getting your book from idea to a plan to a finished product throughout it. So yeah, and there will be room for discussion questions and comments and questions from the audience, so you can get whatever burning questions that you have, or whatever issues are coming up when you're trying to write your own book. You can get some expert advice on what your next steps should be, how to overcome those challenges, and I'll show you the speak writing method that we use with Speak Your Own Book and for a lot of Correllian Publishing books. So
Wonderful.
yeah, looking forward to seeing people there. You can join as an individual, or you can join as an entire group. So feel free to jump onto Tree of Life Interfaith Sanctuary. It's Tallest. What basically is TOLI Sanctuary.org, and then check out the upcoming events, and it's right there. So yeah, if anyone would like to join, I'd love to see you there. Looks like we have a few more comments on the audience.
Yeah, we want to say hello to Jeanette in the chat room. Hi, Jeanette.
Hi, Jeanette. Good to see you. And Magical Mermaid, she has said personified.
When we were talking about the interesting capitalizations.
Oh yes, yeah, we personify words. I love your phrasing of that, Magical Mermaid. Excellent. Yeah,
Magical Mermaid
Jeanette.
is very magical.
Yes. That sounds like a very magical name. I love it. So yeah, that's our 2 books that are currently out. We do have a couple of other things that I'd like to talk about that is coming up. Just earlier, Reverend Don and I had a discussion about potentially what next book he wants to write. We have a couple in mind. So do you want to share your thoughts and maybe get some feedback from the audience?
Well, I think that the next books are going to be Reverend Don's Book of Energy and Reverend Don's Book of Numerology. And probably going to be working on both of them around the same time.
Yeah.
Although not releasing them at quite the same time. But we're looking at starting both of them pretty much immediately now that astrology is out. And so one of them will be dealing with energy, which, by the way, will be our subject on the show tomorrow. The other with numerology, which we've had as a subject on other shows.
Yeah, I'm really excited for both of those. Working through the energy exercises that you have in the Correllian Wicca lesson books for first, second, and third degree were quite helpful for me, especially with the drawings that you have with them. That was very helpful to visualize for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I often, I don't know if anyone else has this, but I think in words, I guess because I'm a writer. It's very hard for me to think in images. I think in words, or I think in voices. Like I can remember the sound of a memory more than I can the visual of a memory.
For me, I think in pictures. And so when I was first writing years ago, together with the limitations of the medium, the idea of providing more visual stimulus didn't really occur to me that people would need it. But over the years, I've come to find it's a big help to people. And so when we redid the lesson books, I made it a point to include a lot of images showing what we're talking about, in the hope that would make it easier for people. And I think it does. And I had a lot of fun doing that artwork because, I've had people ask me what computer program I use to generate the figures, and I did not. They're done by hand on computer. A lot of them are photo collage using dozens and dozens of pieces put together in kind of a mosaic-y sort of way. Although it doesn't look like that. It looks like a computer-generated figure.
But, it looks very natural the way it's done. Yeah.
It was a very interesting technique. One of the interesting things I'd have to say, looking back at my career, is I've used a lot of different techniques of artwork. My natural technique was black and white pen work, usually very high contrast shading. But I've also done plain black and white line work. For example, with the Great Women of Antiquity coloring book, where there's no shading, but just the plain line drawing, which can be quite a lot of fun sometimes. I've worked with the stippling as at one time what was a specialty that I was into for maybe about 10 years. And now I do a lot of computer work because, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. And I've done a little bit of painting, but painting was never really my thing. And of course, at the alcohol marker, color work, like with the Tarot of Hecate, which I always quite enjoyed. I enjoy it because it's so precise. I was never one who enjoyed imprecise materials. I was talking the other day about a package of pastels that we came across that belongs to someone else in the house. And I pointed out, pastels were never my thing because they're very imprecise.
Yeah, I actually have an example of your alcohol marker work in the investiture souvenirs.
Yes.
So if you haven't gotten your souvenir yet for the investiture, I recommend checking out we have a special link at the top of the page for it. It says investiture memorabilia. And I love the image that you've done here where you've really captured this passing on to the next generation of leadership. It's quite wonderful to see the older generation really uplifting and supporting the younger generation of leadership within the Correllian tradition like this.
It is.
It's in many faiths, it's kind of a battle when there's a shift from one generation to the next, and it's lovely to see that instead of there being a battle for control here, it's more of a training into leadership, and I love seeing both the older and the younger generations working together like that. It's not often that you see that.
Well, you have to. You really have to have the younger generation or there's no future.
Absolutely.
And, I was talking, I think, just yesterday about how so often people are fixated only on their past in spirituality, and they forget it's where we are and where we're going that matters, and that is the younger generation.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, in the chat room, Christine says that I would love to see a curriculum for youth, and we would like to see that too.
Yes. Well, I mean, the Beltane book that we have is our first start with that. We're going to create the 4 for the greater Sabbats this year. The lesser Sabbats will be added next year. But it is a program that is designed for children between 8 and 13 years old, really for preteens 8 and 12 years old. But, even the older children, I think, would get a lot out of it. You can work through the book with the younger children, but you'll probably need to break down some of the concepts a bit more. We actually talk about in the first chapter, or the first part that I told you about. We have the cute little story about the kids going to their first Beltane. The second part is the retelling of the myth of Rhiannon, and in a modern way, in a kid-friendly way, that teaches kids about how to be true to yourself, even when you're faced with societal pressures of fitting into this gender mold or that gender mold, that really you can break free of those things and not have to bend to the world's will. You can be who you are. And part 3 is really important with this. Part 4, of course, is the ritual, which obviously is the core of the book. But part 3 is a great guide for parents and kids to talk about gender identity and sexuality, which, a lot of parents struggle with talking about that, especially if we don't have the vocabulary ourselves, if we didn't grow up learning it. And a lot of this is still very new, especially with our growing understanding of the different aspects of queerness and gender identity and sexuality, and all of these things that we just weren't taught in school or as kids, and our own parents didn't know back then, even scientists didn't really understand a lot of it. So this breaks it down in a really kid-friendly, easy-to-read way. And there's a great tool inside for learning how to define your sexuality and your gender and express that towards others. It's called the Meet Me on a Date tool. And kids are able to, by the end of that tool, talk about who they are when it comes to gender and sexuality and what they're looking for from future partners or future romantic interests, because at that age, that's when those feelings start to develop, and it's good to be prepared with who you are and where you stand on those things.
Very cool.
Oh, Jeanette says,
yeah, Jeanette says this is good. My grandson will love this. And Nikki says that they just bought the First Degree book on Kindle, and they're very much looking forward to it. And we want to thank you. We've come to the end of our half hour.
Oh, we have. I see that now. Let me stop sharing so we can.
That went by really quickly. And Christine says that I'm teaching my granddaughters correspondence, and they're really enjoying it. That's wonderful.
Excellent.
And the next generation is really what it's all about, because without a next generation, there is no next generation. Yeah. So we want to thank everyone for joining us. And tomorrow we'll be talking about energy. And on Monday, we were talking about animism. On Tuesday, we were talking about shamanism. And on Thursday, we'll be talking about energy. And those three things together really have a lot to do with understanding Correllian philosophy. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow. Thank you, Krys, for joining us today.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And if you're interested in any of these books or many others, you can find them at CorrellianPublishing.com.
And I'll type that in the chat, too.
And if you enjoyed this program, please feel free to hit like and share. And you may also want to look up our Correllian Publishing page on Facebook, and look for us on other platforms as well. And thank you for joining us, and let us close with our prayer as we always do. And Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you for all that you do for us in our lives and for helping us to express our message in the world. Help us to build a better world one step at a time, and to move the world to a happier, brighter, better place. Beloved Mother Goddess, beloved Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with great love and thanks, and knowing you're always with us. Still, we thank you for your presence. May you be blessed now and always. We thank you for your presence, and we'll see you tomorrow, and may you be blessed now and always also.
Blessed be.